Hey folks, got something real special here for you. I have purchased about 90 days now, so I've got a pretty good review on this beauty here. It's a 2021 GMC Sierra 3500 6.6 gas. Yes, not the diesel, but gas. I got a couple of goodies that I highly recommend. A couple of things that I don't know why it didn't come standard in future upgrades, as well as some other features that aren't really necessary, but they make it look really cool. So let's get into it. Now, let's get into why I chose the automatic running boards versus the fixed running boards when I made my decision to put running boards on here after I found out it was so tall that it was even a pain for me to get in, and I'm a pretty tall guy. So after multiple times of struggling getting out of the truck, I made a decision to go ahead and purchase running boards. I went with Rough Country. I know there's a bunch of them out there. I did a ton of research, and I just thought the Rough Country, for the price, what they had to offer, how they hooked up, I just thought they were the way to go. Now, it only took me about an hour to install them. I did have help from my brother-in-law, so that made it a little bit easier. I recommend having help. It's 100% drillless. It goes into pre-existing holes that are already there for the running boards, and it's just plug and play. The only thing you really have to do that may be concerning is you do have to drill holes in the plugs of the running board to run the wires through to hook up to the OBD2. That way it's simply plug and play. I called Rough Country. They answered my call right away. I asked a ton of questions about these running boards, some features that weren't quite listed in the website that I wanted to know about. One of those features being, does the running board lock into place if you put your foot down on it, so you can clean the top of your truck or clean the running board? And the answer is yes, they do. You put your foot on there for a couple seconds while it's trying to go up, it senses that and it stops. So it's I can't say enough about them. They look cool. They sit a little bit lower than a standard running board, make it a little bit easier to get in and out of the vehicle. So highly recommend them. The second must-have, which some people may find this not really a must-have because they don't forget like I forget, but I forget. So right here, this hitch. One of the main complaints or problems that these multi-function tailgates have is the fact that if you leave your hitch inside here and you forget about it and you go to drop this multi-function tailgate and go to drop the step, it'll crash right into this ball. That's bad, right? That could end up crushing your camera and your light and the switches in the tailgate, and you got to replace that whole entire unit. It could be quite expensive. There's a simple solution. That, my friends, is called a kill switch for the tailgate if it detects a ball inside here, from tailgatefix.com. Now, I enjoyed working with the company. They were awesome to work with. I've once already left the hitch in there, and it did stop me from lowering it down any further, so I didn't damage my tailgate. So I may demo that in a future video. I may do like an after install video, kind of showing you how it's installed, where everything's at. So going along with the whole tailgatefix.com, they have another cool goodie. Not really necessarily a must-have, but definitely a goodie that makes this tailgate a little bit more functional. So here the tailgate's down, like everyone's used to seeing it. If you hit the button again, the tailgate drops down again in that multi-function. Here's where the cool, I mean, I don't know why I didn't think of this, but one of the downsides to these tailgates is that this step, or this, I guess you could call it a cargo stop, doesn't actually lock into place without this cool little lock stop. So from the same makers of the tailgate switch, they also make this load stop lock, which is a very simple but genius product. It makes it to where it locks this in so it can't fold down on you as you're driving down the road. You press in, lift up, and then there you go. So many of you ask, what would you use this for? Well, I'll show you. So if I put the tailgate back up into there's the regular tailgate position, you can see that this becomes a stop. Now, one of my only complaints about this truck when I purchased it is I was used to having an 8-foot bed. This truck does not have an 8-foot bed. This bed is 6 foot 9 inches. So didn't quite meet my criteria of the 8-foot bed. However, because I do have this multi-function tailgate and it does extend out, I can put a full 8 sheet of plywood in here, pull this back. Now that I have this load stop, it won't collapse on me. Because of this folds back and locks into place, I can hold 4 by 8 foot sheets of plywood in the back of here without any issues. Another cool feature that is a factory add-on is this light up GMC logo. A lot of people ask, did I get that from the factory? Did they install it? And no, I installed it. It was very, very simple. I ended up reading a forum about a guy that spoke about a certain tool, which I'll show you here in a minute, that gets into the old emblems and allows you to pop them out with ease. And I say ease, and you got to have a little bit of pressure behind it, but it's not rocket science. It took me, probably 10-15 minutes to plop the old one out and plop this in. It took longer to actually run the wire from the back of this, which is already a hole in there from the factory, ready to roll. It took me a little bit to run the wire from there all the way down and tap into the headlight. That's my only complaint. The washer container is right here, so it's kind of in the way. So I end up going through the fender well to get to the light to plug it in. Simple, easy, plug and play. Anybody could do it. Okay, let's talk why I chose the gas version over the diesel version. And to put it simple, it was cost. I could buy a lot of gasoline for $13,000, and for the amount of pulling that I do, I wanted the power, I wanted the beef of the HD truck and the 3500, but I don't go long distances and I don't haul a lot. But when I need the capacity or I need the power, I wanted it without that upfront cost. So that's the main reason why I went with gas. Cheaper to maintain. Don't have to worry about, extra fluid you got to put in. And I think it's just less maintenance. Personally, I've had diesels and they are more efficient. I mean, quite a bit more efficient, especially nowadays. But for me, it just really came down to cost. I couldn't see spending the $13,000 for a feature that I wouldn't take advantage of a lot. So that's pretty much why I went with gas. All right, so let's have a little conversation about the pros and cons of this truck. I would have to say some of the cons, it does ride a little rougher for a 2021 model year truck. Now, yes, I know it's got the heavier duty front end because I got the plow package. It is a 3500, so it has the extra leaf spring in the back, so that's going to stiffen it up. I understand all that. And when I do have weight on here, the thing rides like a dream. So I will take the rough ride for the ability to pretty much haul whatever I want, whenever I want. So I don't know if I necessarily say that's a con, but it does ride a little bit rougher than my previous trucks. Another con, I don't have the sliding glass rear window. Now, I know a lot of you are like, well, what would you really use that for? I like fresh air, and I think having the rear glass window would have just been cool. The sunroof, I could care less about that. That's just one less thing I got to worry about leaking. But the rear sliding window would have been a nice feature. I wish it came standard maybe with the AT4, especially so much money as I paid for these trucks, but it just didn't. It didn't come with it. It wasn't an option for me. with the package that I wanted. So I didn't get it. Another con would be the fact that it didn't come with running boards, and this truck is massive. I mean, it sits up high. So the fact that it didn't come from the factory with running boards, it just, I could just see those seats getting worn down very, very quickly without running boards. So running boards, in my opinion, is definitely a must. Whether they're fixed or power, that's your preference, but they are definitely a must. So the fact that it didn't come with them, and you know, again, with the amount these trucks cost, it just boggles my mind. But it was a pretty cheap addition. It was fairly easy to install. So maybe that's not really a con, because I got to choose what I wanted to put on there without paying the outrageous fees that the dealer wants. I don't know. The other con I would have to say is the steering. I already had the intermediate steering shaft replaced with like 500 miles on the truck. So it came from the factory with a debunked intermediate steering shaft. The cool thing is, the dealership, they took it right out. They went right over the bump exiting the garage, and they felt it instantly. So it was a pretty easy 1, 2, 3 punch for them to diagnose and repair. It was a fairly seamless repair. GM's got plenty of them in stock, so clearly it's a problem. But that's you know, that's one of my only, you know, real complaints, that, you know, right out of the factory, I don't know, it just quality control. And the reason I went with GMC is because they're notorious for having better quality control, or in my opinion, they've had better quality control. So I don't know, but definitely that was quite a con. Another con that I don't understand, this is the AT4 package, right? It's got the Rancho suspension, but it doesn't have a steering stabilizer. I mean, for $200, you can get the Rancho bolt-on steering stabilizer and really gets a stiff feel in the steering wheel that you should have from the factory with a truck like this with the AT4 package. So that'll be something that I will be adding on in the future, and I will do a hands-on video of installing that, before and afters, and really sharing with you guys how much of a difference that makes. There's a couple of videos out there where the guys have done it, and it's just night and day. I mean, I've actually drove another truck that had it, and it's a new truck. So I will definitely be adding that feature on very soon, probably before winter gets here. And I will do a whole entire install video and review after I get that installed. Let's go to the pros, because there's quite a bit. One of the pros that I think I love about this truck is the factory bed liner. You can't beat it. This factory bed liner is tough. I mean, I've already beat it up pretty bad. I've thrown pallets in the back of here, stone in the back of here. I beat it up pretty bad, and you can't tell. It looks brand new. Now, the multi-function tailgate on the back half of it and the top half is plastic. So that's maybe a con that's plastic, but a pro in my eyes, because it's easily replaceable. They're actually fairly inexpensive. I can see aftermarket all day long on those two pieces. Here, I'll actually show them to you real quick. Those two pieces right there that are plastic. So, you know, I don't know, in the future, I'll probably, you know, hopefully an aftermarket will come out, or, you know, they're already getting kind of tore up now. So that might be a future video with, you know, how I fixed that, what I did to resolve that. If there was an aftermarket out there, if I put a coating, I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do to kind of stop that wear a little bit. But it's a truck, so I'm going to use it, and it's a tailgate. It's going to get used. So I'm not, you know, it's not like it's a bad thing. It's just plastic. I don't know, up in the air. You guys tell me. The cameras on this truck. Now, I didn't get the technology package, so I didn't get the 5,000 cameras and 360 view and all that nonsense. I didn't want to spend the money on it, to be honest. It was, you know, another like $2,000. I've been driving trucks for a very long time. I use my mirrors. I love my mirrors. Technology sometimes scares me, so I didn't go with it. However, the two cameras that it does have, the fifth wheel camera that's in the bed of the truck and the HD camera that's in the tailgate, are phenomenal. They are crystal clear. They make it super easy backing up and hooking up your trailers or fifth wheel. GM was spot on that. They are perfect cameras. The quality is outstanding. I wish the screen inside the truck was a little bit bigger to highlight those HD cameras, but 8-inch is fine. I have no complaints. It's functional. It works. It's fine. Maybe not quite up to speed to the Ford and the Dodges of the world. I get it. You know, they have these big, humongous screens. I don't know, guys. I'm old school. That 8-inch screen's fine. It's functional. I like the older look. If they would come back with the square body Chevys with all the cool updated functions and features, I'd be on it. The other thing I love about this truck is the heated and cooled seats. I know heated seats have been around forever. Cooled seats have been around forever, but that's almost like standard on these trucks anymore. And let me tell you, you know, when you're out there working hard, you're hooking up trailers, you're unloading trailers, you're moving equipment around, getting into a nice cool truck with cooled seats is amazing, especially on long trips. It's just absolutely amazing. Highly recommend it. Other than that, all the other features on this thing are pretty much standard that you would find in trucks nowadays. One of the other cool things I think that a lot of people don't mention is the automatic parking brake. When you go to hook up your trailer and you set and you put it in park, it automatically sets the emergency brake. Now, to be able to activate this, you have to zoom in on your camera and put it in, you know, the trailer mode, and it zooms in right at the ball. And then when you put it in park, it automatically locks the parking brake, so it parks your truck right where you need it to lower the trailer onto the ball. Awesome feature. Love it. Every truck should have it. Don't know why they don't. Absolutely spot on. Great feature. With the GMC logo, the Rough Country running boards, and the GMC Puddle Lights. So yes, I removed the factory Puddle Lights and put in the factory GMC Puddle Lights in the bottom of the mirrors. 100% plug and play. Took me, honest to God, 30 seconds per side to put them in. The easiest upgrade I've ever done, and they look way cool. Not necessarily a necessity, you know, it's just one of those things. They were cool. I wanted to add them, they were cool. So let me tell you a little story. Day two of having this truck, my wife went into town and hit a deer. So these trucks, they are not deer proof, but they are deer resistant. This deer was massive. And as you can see right there, that's all he did to this truck. This little scratch and these two dents. That was all the damage that was done to this truck, going about 50 to 55 mile an hour, and a deer coming off a 30-foot hill down across the road and smack it. So that's one thing I want to say about these trucks versus the previous generations, previous years. This is metal. This isn't plastic. This isn't plastic. This is metal. This is a metal bumper. So spot on, GM. Saved me probably thousands upon thousands of dollars on a fix because of having a metal bumper. Now it's going to cost me $500 and a couple hundred to get it painted. That's it. So that's fantastic. I'm going to go over the interior. You know, the interior's in the interior. Since I didn't get the technology package, it doesn't have the wireless charging. You know, you got to plug everything into the USB-Cs and the USBs. You know, I'm okay with that. That's, you know, I didn't need all that. The interior is what the interior is. The two-tone's cool. The AT4 molded mats with the carpet snap-ins, awesome. In the winter, you can take out this carpet snap-ins and I'll show you. You can take these carpet snap-ins out in the winter and it's just your molded mat, and in the summer, put them back in. Awesome. Every manufacturer should be doing this. This is cool. This is a truck. It's gonna get dirty. This is cool. So I think that's it, folks. I'll go into a little bit more detail about some of the installs in future videos. I just want to give you a 90-day review of my experience with the AT4 and the Sierra. I've heard others have the same experience. You know, when you go to buy a truck these days and you're spending the money that you spend, you do a lot of research, right? You look at service bulletins, you look at issues, you know, and they all got them. But GMC, they've been solid for me. It's a preference thing. In future videos, you'll see that, you know, I have Suburbans and you know, Kubota tractors and Kawasaki's, and I normally gear my what I buy to how expensive will it be to fix if something goes wrong. That's usually how I gear what I buy. I'll be completely honest. So, you know, I buy things that are popular because popular makes parts easier to get. Some of you may be anti that, or like, well, you know, if it's a good quality product, you shouldn't have to replace parts on it. That's just not reality. Reality is these things are built to break. they're built, that's residual income for these manufacturers, is to have things that eventually break. So you got to buy the parts to repair them. So it's a matter of, you know, if I'm going to have to buy parts, it's a matter of how expensive are these parts going to cost me. And if it's a popular, you know, vehicle or a popular side-by-side or popular tractor, odds are those parts are going to be more plentiful, easier to get a hold of, and it's going to cost less. So when I go to, you know, look to buy something, I take that into consideration. Thanks for watching this first video. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll have all the links to everything I've purchased to the truck down below. And they're not affiliate links, they're just straight links to the website. Go and buy them. Guys, this is not YouTube Make a Millionaire here. I've got a good job. I love my job. It's a good career. You know, this is just pure fun. I'm here to help you guys, here to answer questions. And that's it. So welcome to My Stuff Garage. We'll talk to you guys soon.